Ladies and gentlemen, American German Bulldog Nation, happy Friday to you. Today, by the way, in history is the first day they published part of the Federalist Papers. Always sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. And let's get rolling. We got 27 great topics to cover. First, Hamas claims 50 hostages have died as a result of the Gaza bombing. It's hysterical that they say that as if it's like your fault. It's just unbelievable. Everything that derives from what they did that Saturday or Sunday when they came into that music festival is on them. Robert Kennedy doesn't have security. Well, they've arrested somebody near his house that shouldn't have been there. By the way, Robert Kennedy is now backing up on reparations, too. It didn't go over very good. George Santos, Republicans are kicking him out. This guy is a disgusting individual. Thank God they're kicking him out. Syria strikes. Really big news. 2 F-16s hit 2 places in Syria. Apparently one was a munitions place in response to the attacks on our military base. And I'm going to tell you something. This is unfreaking believable. Sabrina, guess how many times they hit one of our military bases? 19. If I was president of the United States, they hit one military base one time, bam. We wait for them to hit us 19 times. Luckily, no soldiers have died. Brian Koberger, motion to dismiss denied. This is the person who killed three people near that college campus. Awful. Comer says Raskin ought to do an apology for the disinformation. You're damn right he ought to. Joe Biden will not release to the Republicans investigating the names of the terrorists that have gotten to this country. It's unfreaking believable. All right, 25% of Americans think there's going to have to be violence to get rid of Joe Biden and his ilk. Larry Elder dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Donald Trump. Border warning. Can't make this up. They're saying we got to be on high alert at the border because Hamas and Hezbollah and everything else. After 3 freaking years of letting anybody and everybody in, they issue a border alert. I mean, I rage. I mean, golly. All right, Iran bases. They are, it's going to be very interesting that Iran, they orchestrate this training and everything else, and they're blowing off their mouth. We're going to cover that in a minute. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Iran. Robert Card, this is the main shooter. He's still on the loose. They suspect he might have made it into Canada, and that's all we got to report now. Chili's closing 1,200 locations. I tell you right now, all the things that the government did relative to COVID, destroying the restaurant business. November 8th debate is going to be DeSantis, Haley, Vivek hasn't decided yet, and Christie. They're the ones that have qualified. Trump's going to hold a Florida rally. Resource-strapped L.A. district attorney is why they said they didn't do anything on Hunter. Resource-strapped. I'm anxious to see, well, who did you investigate because you were resource-strapped on him? Joe Biden dropped 11 points amongst Democratic voters. Musk, he borrowed a lot of money besides his cash from banks, big banks. They're apparently getting nervous. This is relative to X or Twitter. On the UN floor, Iran threatened the United States with their involvement in this Gaza Strip issue. Wouldn't take that. Trump revenge. Trump says he's going to get revenge. This always cracks me up. These political gangsters have tried to destroy Trump. So if Trump gets in office and we finally get some justice against these guys, they say, oh, that's just revenge. That's just revenge. Yeah, your point is a politician isn't allowed to invoke revenge? Really? That's not something that isn't supposed to happen? Electric vehicles are apparently not working out very well these days. The big motor companies are souring on them. Let me tell you my theory about this. Electric vehicles with Tesla and Musk. It's a boutique thing. It works. Everybody jumps in too much. Too much. That's what I think. Healthcare. It's every day it worsens. Doctors and nursing shortages. Therefore, the healthcare. NASDAQ dropped 2.5% points yesterday. Google earnings were down. J.D. Vance passed a Senate bill. A couple of Democrats must have voted for it, an anti-mask bill. Vlad is not dead. The Russians are saying Putin is not dead. Chinese fighter came 10 feet from an American jet over the China Sea. Yesterday, Russia tested a nuclear missile. And then last night, Trump raked in $6 million at Mar-a-Lago from big-time donors. You know what? It's hysterical. That debate that they're going to have, it cracks me up. They're all in single digits. What's the point? He's now at 60. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, happy Friday. We're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. Alicia Hellman is a former public defender down in Louisville, has been arrested for smuggling into a prisoner synthetic drug that they put on actual paper. Not good look. 14-year-old is being charged in the Washington Park murders. 14 years old. Kim Vu tried to blow up her competitor, Bora Bora Nails, with a bomb, and it didn't work. Did you know that the nail game is such competitiveness that they try to blow each other up? There ought to be a movie about this one. Northside shooting last night. There was also a car chase. Nobody was hit by the bullets. Wrong way driver last night on Coleraine Avenue. Guess what? Runs into a Rumpke truck. Not good. In local news, Norfolk Southern has spent, you don't think they want to sell this sucker? $4.2 million in advertising trying to convince the voters to pass issue 22 so the city of Cincinnati can sell the railroad or buy the railroad. Xavier is going to have a new golf practice facility starting construction. Last night, 1,500 people attended the Cincinnati NAACP dinner. That's a whole lot of folks. In Kentucky, Cameron versus Bashir, we're coming down the wire, and I just want to tell you some scuttlebutt. I got some great sources out there. And what's going on with Cameron is this. He's not getting any Democratic voters. And he's losing even along. And when I say losing, he's not getting all the Republican MAGA voters, etc. He's ran a terrible campaign. Bashir's going to win. Jared Hossfield, this is wild, was struggling with a deer and died. Isn't that wild? Papa John's is going to stay in Louisville, and their headquarters are going to stay in Louisville. By the way, speaking of the governor's race, Andy Bashir has outspent Daniel Cameron $25 million to $5 million. The venue case, Daniel Cameron, and they passed a law trying to say that you could file a lawsuit against the state in whatever county you were in, not just Franklin County. That was ruled unconstitutional by the Kentucky Supreme Court Thursday. A Veterans Club guy stole over $100,000. You don't steal from orphanages, old ladies, and veterans clubs. Ohio purged 26,000 voters off their record. All kinds of reasons, folks. They're out of town. They moved. People don't realize how many. Think about in every state how many people move out of that state every year. It's a lot of people. Sharonville Ford is back online Monday. Richard Crosby, this lawyer who's been disbarred, a.k.a. Richard Williams, was sending out applications for a job applying as Richard Williams. Now he's in trouble. Judge Ted Winkler, I like Ted Winkler, dry wit, good guy. The Winkler political dynasty. His wife was the former clerk. He's under fire for posting some ongoing events on his Facebook page. I'll be honest with you, folks, I didn't see anything wrong about it. But somebody had to file a complaint. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.
Hello, you're watching Eric Deters World News in 60 seconds. Today's top stories.
A Chinese fighter jet intercepted a US B-52 bomber in a nightmare maneuver over the South China Sea early this morning. The US said it was concerned that the pilot was unaware of how close he came to causing a collision. The pilot was said to have flown below and in front of the aircraft, which was lawfully conducting routine operations over the South China Sea in international airspace. The US has carried out airstrikes against 2 weapons and ammunition storage facilities in eastern Syria. The US strikes were separate and distant from the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Most parts of Ghana have plunged into darkness due to a lack of gas to power machinery used to generate electricity in the country. Power distribution from Ghana's Grid Company Limited says the situation has caused a supply gap at a peak time at Terma Power Plant near the capital of Accra. Ghana is currently going through the worst economic crisis in a generation. And a drop in water levels at the Amazon has revealed rock carvings which have mostly been submerged since they were carved more than 1,000 years ago. A severe drought means that the human faces carved in the rocks on the shore can now easily be spotted. The discovery was made in the city of Manaus in northern Brazil. Until Monday, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Cheerio.
Ladies and gentlemen, American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Sports Without Boundaries. We got a lot to cover. Josh, how did we ever do sports one day a week? It's crazy. Well, the big news, NFL last night, the Buffalo Bills 24, Tampa 18. A Hail Mary by Baker Mayfield almost made it, but Tampa's lost 3 straight. Sean Miller's contract with Xavier University basketball has been extended 2 years. YouTube has 1.5 million people watching the NFL ticket. They're going to lose $1.2 billion. Ouch. NBA news, the Bucks 118-76. Damian Lillard lit it up. I think he had 38 points on his new team. Lakers 100, Suns 95. Big win for the Lakers. Pac-Man can fly out of CVG now. Look at old Pac-Man. All right. One big game of consequence last night in college football. Virginia Tech 38, Syracuse 10. Sunday games of note. We're only going to give you the games and notes. Patriots at the Dolphins. Jets at the Giants. Jags at the Steelers. Rams at the Cowboys. Bengals at 49ers. By the way, it's kind of interesting in it. By the way, Purdy's in concussion protocol, but he'll probably play. How wild is it that Tua gets to play 2 teammates back-to-back? Jalen and now Mac Jones. The World Series begins tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. Rangers have never won the World Series. The D-backs won it once in 2001. Guess who's going to throw out the first pitch? George W. Bush. And Pudge Rodriguez is going to be there to catch it. Tomorrow night it's going to be Andre Beltre and Ferguson Jenkins will be catching it. James Harden wasn't allowed to get on the Philadelphia plane. The NBA wants to know why. They said, no, you're not going to play on our opening. Awuzie of the Cincinnati Bengals is battling through a back problem, but he's expected to play. Xavier High School is going to get a new golf practice course. What's a golf practice course, Josh? Isn't it just a golf course? Northwestern State. This is not Northwestern University. This guy right here, Ronnie Caldwell, was shot. The head coach resigned, and they canceled the season. FBI is investigating Michigan assistant Weiss. No, we don't know if he's related to Chris Weiss, one of my nemesis. Breeders' Cups, November 3rd and 4th at Santa Anita. Messi, did you cover this, Jamie? Messi is one of the finalists for the Major League Soccer newcomer nominee. That's kind of hysterical, isn't he? I know, it's crazy. UC transfer Aziz Bandago. There's some problems going on, but he's got a powerful ally, the Attorney General of the state of Ohio. Saban says the best thing he ever did was not drink, and the rest is history. Molina, the great catcher of the St. Louis Cardinals, probably a Hall of Famer, 19 years is retired. Sean Casey, of the former Cincinnati Reds, is out as the batting instructor of the New York Yankees. Texas, all right, they're not going to play Arch Manning yet. The backup for Ewers is going to be Malik Murphy. Myles Garrett now owns a little part of the Cavs. I wonder what Nick Batista thinks of that. Deion Sanders brought in Michael Vick to talk to his team. Michael doesn't look as fast as he once was, Josh Wentz. College games tomorrow of note. Georgia's at Florida. Oregon's at Utah. It's the college game day. Pitt at Notre Dame. Duke at Louisville. Tennessee at Kentucky. OSU, Wisconsin. Colorado, UCLA. And the Bearcats will be battling Oklahoma State. NHL. Folks, there's a lot of scores here. I'm not going to cover them. There's too many of them. Google it. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Bulldog Nation's favorite show, my commentary on pop culture. Well, guess what? This is a wonderful scam. This young lady right here, Haley McNally, 27, had a sugar daddy in his 50s, was with a U2 concert. She leaves the U2 concert, goes and takes $50,000 out of his safe in the hotel room. But he figured it out, and now she's in jail. Tara Reid is unrecognizable. Is she Chinese now? Tara Reid used to just be plain cute. Not anymore. Kim Zolciak is begging the judge, don't take mine home. Their kids will be homeless. Now, I want to tell you something. I've never faced foreclosure. Foreclosure is a terrible thing, even for wealthy people. But here's the thing that I just am always grateful for. And two guys are right here in the room. And I've said this before. You never know how life takes you down a notch. You never know. But the one thing I feel great about, I have countless people who I'd have a bed or a room. Jamie let me go to his basement. He'd kick his son out if I needed it. I mean, up to a different room or something. Wouldn't you, Jamie? You'd always be welcome in my house. Josh would always be welcome in my house. My godfather, my cousin Josh. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, do these people not have any real friends? And let me explain. These two famous people don't have any real friends that could help them make the mortgage payment? Think about that. Isn't that wild? They don't have any friends. Well, of course, I do know how rich people are. I mean, they would rather have their friends foreclosed upon than help them out. But you did think about that. Why is their home being foreclosed? No one can help these people? And by the way, if she looks that good, I would think she could find somebody to pay the mortgage payment. Right? Just shooting straight with everybody. This is sick. By the way, Britney Spears, I think, is batshit crazy. But it doesn't change the fact that even batshit crazy sometimes can tell the truth. She says in her memoir that Ed McMahon flirted with her when she was 10 years old. And it creeped her out. Now, knowing what you know about this stuff that goes on in Hollywood, do you doubt that at all, Josh?
Probably not.
I don't either. Taylor Swift came out and announced that she's not bi. There's been some rumors. Waylon Jennings, you know that song? It says, he goes, maybe we're taking this outlaw thing too far. Was based upon the fact that DEA busted him and he had to dump all his cocaine down a toilet. An Asian man died from octopus raw being stuck in his throat when he was eating it. Life advice to everybody today from yours truly. Don't eat octopus, cooked or otherwise. This is a disgusting story. In fact, we're going to cut a video because of it. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis maintain they rarely bathe. They're into that nature stuff. Then the kids, so... Can you imagine what their junk smells like unbathed? All right, Al Pacino's 80. His girlfriend's in her 20s. They've worked out all their differences. Can you picture Al Pacino holding a baby, feeding a baby? Barbie sales went up 16% after the Barbie movie. Chris Stapleton is continuing his tour, adding dates. Speaking of Britney, she posed butt naked. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've all seen Britney now, haven't we? Christine McVie, estate, she passed away. She was part of Fleetwood Mac. They stole her interest in the book of business. And Kelly Clarkson's lost a ton of weight. Good for her. Let's face it, I'm sure it's Ozempic. And who cares? Kelly Clarkson's the classic, really cute, lose the weight and you're extra cute, right? I'm happy for her. Now, did she take Ozempic? She took Ozempic. Who cares what she took? Good for you, Kelly. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has her day. Have a great weekend.